Hello and welcome back to the second episode of the Refugee Voice podcast. Today, we will not be hearing a story from a report or a screen. We will be hearing it from the person who lived it. Our guest is a refugee who lived through pain and found his way to hope. He is an ambitious guy who turned hardship into strength and turned his story into a reason to keep going. Hello, Salman, how are you?
Hello, Arwa. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So, first of all, can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. My name is Salman Mawi. I am 17 years old. I come from Syria, and currently I live in Gaziantep, Turkey. I am an 11th grader who just finished 11th grade. I'm gonna be a 12th grader starting next year, and I am very happy to be here with you.
I'm happy too. So, in what year did you leave your country and how old were you at that time?
So I left my country with my family around the end of 2020. I was 13 years old.
What were the reasons that forced you to leave your country?
The main reason is like just any other, like just the rest of the Syrian refugees is the war. And the second reason is also the economical situation. Living in Syria became gradually harder since the economic situation in the country in general was becoming worse and worse day by day. Mm, our income wasn't enough to pay for our house rent and our groceries and our school supplies. So we had to move countries and seek a job opportunity in a different country.
Yeah, so when you first arrived, where did you live?
I was first forced to live with my aunt in her house together with my family. We stayed at her house for a while until we were able to save a little bit of money and rent our own house.
So you were in a new place with a new people, a new life. Like, what was life like there initially, and how did you deal with that new life?
It was pretty hard at first, getting adapted to a new culture and making new friends and learning a new language seemed like a lot at first, but with time it felt a little bit easier and I was able to get over those difficulties.
Yes, so can you give us the most difficult thing you faced in your new place? Like the most challenging thing?
I would say the most challenging thing would be that back in Syria, I was one of the top students in my class and my grades were pretty good. But when we moved here, I was forced to go to school immediately, almost like 3 months after getting here, which made it hard to focus in classes without knowing the language. So I had to manage my time between learning the language and studying at the same time, which made my grades go much lower than they used to be. Facing this challenge and seeing my grades go slowly downwards made me feel bad, and I fell into some kind of depression because this version of me isn't the version I'm used to. I'm used to always being the top student in my class. So when I saw that my grades were going low and I was among the lowest 5 grades in the class, I felt really sad. I would say this was by far the most challenging part about traveling.
But even though like you were very good to learn a new language and start studying, even if your grade weren't that good, but like if you just trying, that itself accomplishment for you.
Yeah, it by hard work I was able to overcome it, and it's always it's not shameful for a person to fail, but the shameful thing would be to stay down. It's more than okay to fail one and two and three times, but the wrong thing would be to give up. Giving up is failing, but falling down isn't failing.
Exactly. Did you feel safe when you arrived?
I would say yes, since I had traveled with my family and I stayed at my aunt's house. So after arriving here, yeah, I did feel safe, much safer compared to the situation back in Syria.
Yeah. So in Turkey, we've seen a lot of discrimination situations on social media or even in real life. So, how did the local treat you? Did you face any kind of discrimination or racism?
In my first year, I'm not sure if I had faced any type of racism because I used to be always alone, and when someone spoke to me, I wasn't able to pretty much understand what they were saying. But starting from my second year and until now, I would say that I used to face racism about every 2 weeks, one time, like every 2 weeks at school, between classes, in breaks, or after school, or when I go out, I did face a little bit of racism, but um, facing it wasn't easy. But with time, it got easy. It got easier, and I got used to it, and I learned how to face it and how to reply to those racist people.
Oh, that's great. So you mentioned that you were able to complete your study, but despite the language, what difficulties did you face to do so, to complete your study?
Um, the So as I said, the language was the hardest obstacle by far. But I would say another obstacle was that when I traveled, I had traveled in the middle of the eighth grade. So when I came here, I had to repeat eighth grade. And eighth grade is an important school year in the Turkish curriculum, since it's just like the ninth grade in Syria. Youth scores in the eighth grade here pretty much decides um, not so good school. So that challenge put a lot of stress on me. And yeah, it was one of the difficulties I also faced when I came here.
Well, I didn't know this information. Actually, you always surprised me of how much you were great to overcome the obstacles.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you, Arwa.
Yes. So what is the feeling that best describes your entire experience in Turkey?
I would say my experience so far was like a roller coaster. So far, I've only told you the bad sides about my experience, but there is also good sides. There is good people here too. There isn't only racist people. There is good sides to the journey too, not just the people. But as you know, the economic situation is kind of better compared to Syria, and the water and electricity situations. So I wouldn't say that my experience was a bad one. And if I had to describe it with one feeling, I would say it's like an emotional roller coaster.
Okay, that's so sweet. Can you give us a memorable moment, a sad or powerful moment, happy or depressed, or whatever?
Um, for me, my most memorable moment was when we first arrived here, because when we came here, my dad had already been here. He arrived before us by 1 year, so he had to stay 1 year away from us, and which made us like really miss him in this 1 year. So when we arrived here and he was waiting for us, it was a very emotional moment. And yeah, I would never forget this moment.
Yes. For Salman today, what are his dreams and ambitions today?
My dream is to make change in society. I see that mental health is strongly neglected in our society, especially the Arabic culture. So for me, I aim to make change in this topic, and I wish to do that by having good study and studying abroad in a good university. So I would get the needed education and power to when they make change in this topic and tell people that mental health is as important as physical health and that people should pay more attention to it.
Well, I wish all your dreams come true. Was medical care available during your journey and where you stayed?
So yeah, there was and there still is medical attention. There is special centers for refugees and Syrian people in general here in Turkey. Those centers are specified for people that aren't Turkish. There, the people there that are working there speak multiple languages. Um, and the most important one, as you know, is Arabic, since most Syrians speak Arabic. Those centers are located in places that are reachable for most people, and the treatment there is pretty good. there is also discounts for medicine for refugee people that aren't able to pay the full cost of the medicine. Or yeah.
Like since you mentioned that you felt a bit depressed in your first year in Turkey. So how did you deal with that stress and anxious since leaving your home?
Well, I wouldn't say it was easy to face it, and it was a journey. It isn't something that you can overcome overnight. I would say my tip for people suffering from depression is to not hide it, to talk about it, because mental problems are just like physical problems. They are not something to be ashamed of. Um, for me, I try to share my emotions with the people close to me. I try to do activities that bring me joy, such as playing football and those type of activities. And as I mentioned, the best tip is to not hide it and talk about it more because mental problems isn't something that people should be ashamed of.
Exactly. I don't know why most of people uh, don't speak about it. Like it's very important thing.
Yes, it is. And this is the sad fact about our culture and our society that we neglect these problems and we see them um, as nothing basically. Most people would tell you if you tell them that you are depressed or when you tell someone that you're depressed or having mental issues, most people would tell you that just overcome it and it's nothing and you're just acting to get attention. But this is very wrong, and this is something that we as a society should work on more.
Exactly. And even people feel shame of it, feel shame of going to the doctor and asking for help.
Yeah, that is very true. Me personally, I go to therapy and I am not ashamed of sharing this information. I started going there recently, like very recently, and I'm not ashamed of saying it. And I wish that one day other people too wouldn't be ashamed of sharing these type of emotions and feelings.
You are great as usual.
Thank you.
So, like you mentioned that you didn't know the language first. Like, despite studying and school, did you face any kind of problem and challenges in your general life, in your daily life, because of the
Um,
language?
Not knowing the language made it really hard to make new friends outside of school and even in school. In school, I was lucky enough to find a friend that was also not Turkish. He was from Moldova, and we got really close. But outside of school, it was really hard to find friends and make relationships because it's hard to communicate when you don't know the language. I was forced to speak English with the people who knew English, and for those who didn't, I was always forced to pull up my phone and use the translator. So yeah, not knowing the language uh, made me face many challenges, not only studying but making friends, and even daily life activities like going shopping or getting groceries. Uh, yeah.
Yes, I think isolation is like the most important problem that we have to work to solve it because most refugees suffer from it because like you are suddenly far away from your country, from your friends and all the things that you got used on it. So yeah, it's very important thing to care of it.
Exactly, yeah. Because when you travel, you and when you are a refugee, you're suddenly away from your family and your friends and all the people that you know, and you are in a new place with the new people, with a new culture, and getting adapted and making friends is something that needs time. So if we are able to improve the communication part, or if we are able to help refugees make friends in any way, I would say that this would help them a lot.
Yeah, I wish that we can find a solution for it.
Yeah, maybe a solution would be to connect other refugees with each other. Like maybe if I am new here in Turkey and I'm not able to make any friends because I don't speak the language, a good solution would be to connect with other Syrian that has been here for a longer while, maybe 4 or 5 years, a person that speaks the language. And by spending time with that person, I would be able to learn some of the language from them, while also not being isolated and not having to stay alone all the time.
Yeah, it's very good idea because when you know someone from the same country, you will have in common a lot of things. You will not feel stranger. You will feel like, yeah, you know it for a long time just because you share your homeland.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So, what is one thing you wish people knew about refugee health?
I would say that help, whether it is mental or physical, most commonly both. Um, they are afraid of asking for medical care because they think it would be expensive and they wouldn't be able to afford it. So I would like to tell them that in most countries, refugee healthcare isn't that expensive, and that governments um, um, supply a good discounts for those refugees.
Yeah, it's a problem that many of them suffer from because it's a really crucial thing to care about because the health is everything.
Yes, a healthy mind is in a healthy body, and to keep your mind healthy, you need to stay healthy physically and mentally.
But unfortunately, many of them doesn't have like the best food, the best health. Like, yeah, it's really difficult for them to be healthy in their new places due to other problems like as you mentioned, the money, the cost. So yeah.
Yes, it is very challenging, and this is very unfortunate.
So Salman, what message would you like to convey to the people listening to your story?
Um, I would say that leaving your country is a challenge that isn't easy. Uh, but I would say that even though that it isn't easy, it isn't also a bad challenge or something to be afraid of, because life in general is challenging. And if we are going to be scared and stay away from every challenge in our life, we wouldn't be able to achieve anything. I would advise any person that is afraid of leaving their country just because they think it would be hard to adapt. I would advise them to not be scared and to be brave, because there is also good sides to this journey, and to never give up. And with time, everything will get better. It may be hard at first, but with time, it would seem easier and you would feel more adapted day by day.
I do agree with you, and actually, I felt it when I left my country. I don't know if you know, but I also was a refugee, and I left to Lebanon. So I know that feeling very good. It's really like I really got better in many fields. Like I knew new friends, I made new friendships. Well, it was a bit challenging, of course, but you can always find the good side of your experience, whatever she is.
Exactly. Yeah. And as they say, time heals every wound.
Yeah, exactly. So, is there anything you would like to add? Something you haven't been asked about that you would like to share it?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so it's the end. Thank you so much, Salman, for opening your heart and sharing your story with us. Your words remind us that behind every refugee label, there's a full human life with dreams, fear, and incredible strength. Thank you so much for your honesty and for your time for us, for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me too, Arwa. I'm really happy to be here, and I hope my story would be a helpful thing for other people.
Yeah, it is. We hope that those listening don't just hear your story, but feel it. Let it move them and change them, and maybe push them to act. To listeners, thank you for being with us. One voice, but there are millions more. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep listening.